Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Guitar Souls podcast. This is episode number 50. We have made it to episode number 50. Mike, how does that feel?
Thrifty and nifty.
Yeah, I feel like we should celebrate that.
Something else we need to celebrate as well.
We do. We need to. So for anybody that is only listening to the podcast, what you won't know is we are finally in my new studio.
No, I was talking about the plastic surgery I got.
Oh, good. Yeah, you are looking good. Looking handsome bastard. Handsome bastard.
Thanks.
Yeah, so we are finally in my beautiful soundproofed studio. It's not fully complete. I still need to put sound absorbing panels on the walls, etc. But if you're listening, you are missing out. Watch it. The camera shot looks great. I'm super happy with this. I'm so excited about where we can go moving forward. So I decided to bust open a bottle of Highland Park Dragon Legend. This was a gift from Mike for my 31st birthday. So yeah, grab a glass, bud. Anyway, I am one of your hosts, Mr. Levi Clay, and I'm here with my good friend, Mr. Mike McLaughlin. How's it going, man?
Very good, my man. How are you?
Like a catchphrase at this point.
I like it. It's the same kind of rhythm every time, but I like it. It's good. Yeah, I'm really good, man. How are you?
Yeah, I had a really tough weekend, as you well know, and anyone that...
Yes.
We're potentially reaching a whole new audience today because my YouTube was very popular over the weekend. Yeah, and the stress that came with that, I had to take the weekend off social media because depression got the better of me. Things were a bit heavy. Learning to not feel the need to engage with every single comment that came in.
Overwhelming.
Yeah, and it's not out of... it's not that I can't, deal with the heat. I'm fine being in the kitchen. It was the amount of it. Like, it's not haters or anything like that bothers me. My entire thing has always been, I love engaging with anyone that watches any of my content. That's amazing. And if they have a question or anything like that, the fact that they would take not just minutes out of their day to watch something that I or we have made, but they would then feel the need to write something to us. The very least I can do is read that and respond to them.
Absolutely.
And I still do feel like that, but getting thousands and thousands of comments, that really pushed me over the edge. That was
it's understandable.
Little bit too much. Yeah. So.
And just on that point, we haven't really discussed this, but I'm sure I speak for both of us. If anybody out there's listening that does struggle with stuff and they're having a bad time and they want just another perspective on it from two guys who go through the same shit as everybody else, messages. Like, we're all in it together. Let's look after each other.
I'll drink to that.
Slanger.
Yeah, I should have prepared by bringing ice out because I'm one of those heathens that drinks my whiskey with ice.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, it's good. Very nice. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, the beauty of having a nice studio that's soundproofed is we can record late, we can record loud.
We can drink whiskey. I only stay 4 minutes away at most walking distance.
Yeah,
I brought the car here. It will not leave here till tomorrow at some point.
Yeah, it's awesome. So for anyone that is new, anyone that is checking out this podcast for the first time because you've just found my YouTube channel, this is the Guitar Souls podcast. We are a pair of assholes that live in Scotland. And we like to rant and rave and rage and have a laugh, have a good time. We are here to entertain you. Nothing more, nothing less. We will talk about things that are happening in the news.
Yes.
And hopefully you will have a chuckle. If you do not have a chuckle, then you are dead inside. You are dead to us.
You're welcome to fuck off.
Yeah.
No, only kidding.
Yeah. So why don't we kick things off then by talking about somebody that we have talked about several times on the show.
We've got recurring guests that have never been here, if we're totally honest.
Sorry, I've got so excited by the things we were going to talk about and the new studio. I forgot to turn chair.
Oh, look at this saucy wee devil.
I mean, we are an officially sponsored podcast, so we should probably make mention of the fact that this podcast is brought to you by Ormsby Guitars. So big shout out to Perry and the guys over at Ormsby. Mike is now modelling my beautiful one-of-a-kind Goliath.
Got to be honest, it looks incredible in here.
Yeah. I love it. I absolutely love that guitar.
I know you do, because you're not a 7-string player, and this is all I've seen you play for about 2 months.
Yeah. It's actually kind of ruining my guitar playing because I'm not a 7-string player. I am very much a 6-string player. But that guitar is so comfortable to just sort of sit with that I sit with it and I play it and I play it and I play it. And I've been working on some Frank Gambardi, like the Little Charmer sweep picking thing. And when I pick up my 6-string now to play that, I feel a little bit lost, even though you don't use the 7th string in it.
It was super interesting what you try to play it on the Mayonnaise and like, nah. It's like, just go and get the Goliath, right? Okay. And then like nailed it first time nearly.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, so please do head on over to Ormsby Guitars, check them out. I think they still have some killer deals on some of their stuff on Reverb. And they Perry was running a Black Friday sale on.
Was the B stock?
Yes,
Correct. I think a lot of it went very quick.
not surprised.
And I can see why. I actually did have a look through myself. Not that I'm in the position to buy or I need to buy any more guitars right now, but the things that they were discounting it for was like ludicrous. Like this one fragment of maple and the inside of the neck pocket is a completely different colour for the rest. You'll never notice. Here's $400 off.
Yeah.
Like, when I say ludicrous, I'm not joking.
Yeah.
Like, beyond the reason for calling it a B stock. But you know what? People get cheap guitars. They get to shift some stock. Everybody's a winner.
So speaking of guitars and B stock,
Mm-hmm.
or at least guitars that are actual stock, let's talk about.
Levi, you're the king of the segue. You know that?
I know.
The king of the segue.
Let's talk about Mr. Tosin Abasi again. A fucking again.
So, for context as to why this is really important, in my opinion, anyone who knows us know that we like to try and keep our finger on the pulse when it comes to new technology, and especially like the digital stuff of recording world. And Tosin has brought out his own patch set through Archetype,
Yes.
isn't it? Which is
Same as the one that do Pliny and Nolly and yeah.
What's the name of the company? My brain has went completely blank.
Is it Neural DSP?
Yes, Neural. Sorry, it's a Neural kit. You're right. It's the Neural Abasi.
Okay.
So in that, I think you've got 4 amps and a couple of different pedals based on his pedals that you can buy through Abasi Concepts, blah, 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 right? And the video that went with it was very interesting, and it's got a lot of hype and people like, you're the best and blah, blah, blah. But you and I had a slightly different opinion on this, didn't we?
We did. My first thought when I saw that is, nice to see that you've got... Your guitar business is going so well that you've got all this time to be making new products. For those unaware, this man owns Abasi Guitar Concepts, and we joked about it last time, but it feels like an ever-running joke that Abasi Guitar Concepts are exactly that, concepts and nothing fucking more. Because people have ploughed down money for these guitars, and they still don't have them. Tosin just recently posted a thread on the 7-string forum, and it didn't get nearly as much rage as I thought it was going to get, so let's take a look at it.
Or it should have got.
Yeah. And, well, that would make sense because it wasn't its own announcement. It was a comment in a 270-page thread anyway. So, it's not its own thing. Anyway, so, hey, guys, I figured I'd address some of the speculation regarding Abasi Concepts. The long and the short of it is that Grover's shop has been struggling to meet our deadlines. Let's pause there, shall we? Do you remember when he was blaming Frank Falbo for exactly the same thing? But now it's Grover Jackson. Grover Jackson doesn't know how to build and hit deadlines.
Nope.
Right, okay.
Not a clue.
Let's keep going. The charitable view on this is that he's prioritised producing hundreds of guitars for Friedman, his primary contract, and didn't scale sufficiently to handle RPOs. He currently has a staff of 3 full-time employees. Right, again, sounds a bit like an excuse to me. Why would you go into business with someone to build your guitars when you know full well that you are the secondary contract? You are not the important one.
Or more importantly, act like a little bitch when you get upset that there is a primary contract and that takes precedence.
Sure.
Like, you can't complain that you know someone else is going to get the priority over you.
Right.
And then start being upset about, oh no, but he's making these guitars for this person. Like, yep, that was his, as you said, primary contract.
But I find that part very interesting because when he says primary, I assume he means first, not necessarily the biggest. I could be wrong on this. This is total speculation, but not a single part of me thinks that there are more Friedman guitars ordered than Abasi guitars, because Friedman make awesome amplifiers, but they're not known for guitar design. Now, I know some people have bought them and really enjoy them. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with them. Let me be clear.
No.
But the Abasi guitars, those are being marketed on Tosin Abasi's name, and like him or loathe him, like that is enough to sell stuff. That's the reason people have forked out money to a man that has zero experience building guitars.
Well, here's the way, and sorry to interrupt, this might sound a bit silly, but from all the press coverage and the NAMM stuff, especially with the Abasi guitars, there was lots of PR, and obviously people were kind of hot on the collar with it and really to the pulse, but I could not tell you under duress what a Friedman guitar looks like.
Yeah. If memory serves me right, you're looking at your classic, not even Super Strat, your modified Strat.
Right, okay.
I'm sure they have some in Guitar.
I've probably
we've
seen
seen
them,
some
but
in
that's
the
what I mean.
tempo.
Like, you see an Abasi guitar and you know that's
Yes.
an Abasi.
Yeah.
You'd see a Friedman and you could go, cool, it could be a Tom Anderson, Sewer.
Yes.
From what you're describing, I can only imagine it falls into the line of all
Yeah.
of these guitars that have went, there's a design, let's slightly modify.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So I'll keep going.
Sorry.
Add the fact that Abasi has a custom order business model, and you end up with the reality of large purchase orders being placed where no two guitars are the same. So we'll pause again. So what you're essentially saying is you were never cut out to deliver on the promise that your business was like. Nobody offers a custom guitar business and then is surprised that they have lots of different orders, unless you're stupid.
Or naive.
Yeah.
That's me being nicer. But
Fair.
even saying that, right? No two guitars are the same. Well, I mean, they're all the same shape. You've given people the parameters that they can order in.
Mm-hmm.
So surely, or the parameters even, surely you know there might not be two guitars the same, but you know what to expect because you've told people this is what you can buy.
Sure.
These are the options that we have planned for.
Yes. But this next part is the part I think that probably bugs me the most, and no one picks up on this, right? So we had a sense that this complexity could potentially be an issue. So we let Grover himself determine the number of options that we could offer. What do you mean? So what you're essentially saying, what that reads as to me, is that these are not Abasi guitars by any stretch of the imagination. These are Grover Jackson guitars with your name slapped on them, because surely the whole point of the Abasi concepts is that you are buying guitars that Tosin would design, not working within the limitations of what Grover Jackson is happy to work with.
So it's a Grover Jackson concept featured in Tosin Abasi then,
Yeah.
really? Because it's not his concept,
Well, actually,
even
it's
in the
Viva.
name of it.
It's vaporware. They don't fucking exist. Do they?
Oh, right, okay. No, they do if you're in Japan.
So yeah. So the next paragraph is scary. We'll get there in a second though. No, we'll jump straight to it. No kid in the candy store vibes, just materials that he told us he was comfortable with. That's the reason we didn't offer Wenge necks, for instance. So between guitars shipped to customers and some that are imminently being completed, we received about a dozen of really high quality instruments from Grover. Unfortunately, we also rejected about 20 guitars that needed rework, mostly paint issues, or had mismatched specs.
I don't want to dive right in, but I don't believe for a second that Grover Jackson sent you more bad guitars than good ones.
Yeah.
Personally, I just don't believe it. That's...
Yeah. Well, you know what? I would say the same about Frank Falbo, right? But that was what happened. Could it be the reason that has happened here, Tosin, is that Grover has been under immense pressure and deadlines to get these guitars to you, and you've rushed them? That's, again, purely speculation, but I just have to look at that and go,
Okay.
you know what I mean? Like,
Film me once, shame on you. Film me twice, shame on me kind of thing.
that's really a perfect summary of this entire story. I'm not even going to bother reading any more of this. It just baffles me. Actually, there is one more part that I do worry, but it baffles me that people are surprised that this is happening. Again, I'll repeat myself. Man with zero experience building and running guitar company decides to build and run guitar company. Is surprised.
Yep.
People are surprised when guitars don't come out.
And then to add to that, proprietary shape,
Yeah.
very high spec,
Yeah.
all custom order.
Yeah. So here we go. This is the paragraph that kills me. It also means that we'll be leaving the custom shop model behind and we'll be switching over to an inventory-based business model. This means that we'll only sell guitars that exist, freeing us from being beholden to the quoted lead times. It will also allow us to take our time with any instruments that need rework without it creating longer waits for customers. What a fucking novel idea. Only selling guitars that actually exist.
But I mean, like, I don't think that's a problem. I think the problem here is what we reported on last time, is the lack of communication with customers.
Yes.
That it's poor, that it's inexcusable.
Yeah.
If you are free enough to go ahead and spend a lot of time with Neural DSP, which you clearly did,
Yep.
and Nolly, because Nolly supplied all the cabinet impulses.
Sure.
And just be there to refine it to exactly what you want, then you have enough time to send an email back to a customer who's paid you money and received nothing in return at that time.
Yep. And this, we'll be talking about TTM next, but this, I'm not saying this
We're
is
talking
the
about
same.
TTM?
I know.
We
who would
never
have
talk
thought?
about them.
I know. this isn't quite the same thing, but you have to look at this from a similar perspective. You have to look at this and say, person starts business, person takes lots of money from customers in order to create product for said customers. Product is made and isn't up to scratch. Okay, fine. Shit happens. That happens, right? How is more product made for the customers when money has already been spent in order to do that? The only way for you to continue making, new, when you say that the 20 guitars weren't up to scratch, like that time still needs to be paid for.
And materials.
Yeah. So where's the money going to come from for this? This is how businesses fail. When you 20 guitars that weren't up to scratch, that needed rework. Can you imagine being one of the customers that got one of those guitars that needed to be reworked? That's not what you fucking want. It's not what you want when you spend thousands and thousands of dollars on an instrument. Go and buy an Ormsby.
I don't even think that those guitars went out. I think basically what he's saying is we got them back for QC and went no. And most frustratingly, as it says, mostly paint issues. So that's the kind of thing you can't just go, fuck, it's just a high fret. We'll sort that right here.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We missed a small part just to say that Tosin also wrote, considering the most severe bottleneck was occurring at the paint stage, we've elected to job out paint to Pat Wilkins. We think this new approach will do wonders for lead times and consistency of outcome. I don't know the name Pat Wilkins, and I mean that with no disrespect to him, but it's not like Grover Jackson isn't known for
being able to build great guitars.
Exactly. Yeah, and I mean, one of his most famous designs, is it not the one with the flames on it, with the gold lines on it, like pinstriping?
I mean, to be fair,
can't be easy.
I asked Frank, who's Pat Wilkins, and he said he's known for doing great paint jobs.
Okay.
But still, the wording in there is we've elected to job out paint jobs. What do you mean we've elected to job out paint jobs? You're jobbing out the guitar building too. All of this is fucking jobbed out.
Yep.
You don't have your own factory. Like, am I missing something here? Abassi Concepts is not like John Suhr making Suhr guitars. Suhr guitars were always made by Suhr at the Suhr factory. At no point is he like, well, we're going to have someone else actually make these and then we're just going to hope for the best and we'll put our name on them. I just don't understand. I don't understand who thinks this is a good business idea, and I don't understand the customers that think, yeah, cool, I'm going to buy into this. And I don't understand that years on, people are still looking at this situation and being like, oh, well, it's not, hopefully it'll be all right. No, it's not going to be all right. You fucking know it's not going to be all right. You just don't want to face up to yourself that you've made a fucking terrible decision.
It sounds very familiar to another company that we
It does. Let's move on to
that.
So, TTM Guitars. I had no interest in talking about TTM Guitars this week because not all that much has happened. I'm getting stories of, many people suing Lance. Actually, you know what? Because we potentially got new listeners. TTM Guitars stands for Taller Than Midgets, owned and run by Lance Benedict.
Easily the best business name you've ever heard of.
Yeah,
it sadly doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. So some of you may have seen TTM Guitars appear on Facebook over the last 3 or 4 years, where they were essentially offering endorsements. Apply for an endorsement with TTM Guitars type thing.
Yes.
And no matter who you were, if you applied for the endorsement, you would be approved for the endorsement.
Tier 1, Tier 2 or Tier 3, which is you can't play, you can nearly play, you could probably help us sell to people who can't play or nearly can play.
I like that.
I mean, that sounds horrible. I don't mean that in a bad way to anyone.
Objectively true, though.
I mean, I'm not being nasty. There might have been guys that got Tier 1 and Tier 2 that can really play, right? My point is that everybody's a customer.
Yes.
As you put it yourself.
Well, that's the point. So everybody would be approved for the endorsement, and the consequence, the what that would result in is cool. So you're an artist, we can give you X amount of discount on a product and give us the money and then we'll make the guitar type thing. Yeah. Now, I immediately saw that for what it was, and I made a video talking about TTM Guitars, you're not the artist, you're the customer. Because I needed people to understand that. I've worked in this industry a long time. I've worked with guitar companies for a long time. I know how endorsements work, and that's not how endorsements work.
Nope.
This is a man that literally has never built guitars. I should say he ran TTM Guitars about 10 years ago, and the business model was to import guitars from China, put made in the USA on them and sell them in the USA. He got shut down. There was a lawsuit with Slayer. Lots of shit went down. People weren't happy with the guitars. You can find stuff all about those from 10 years ago. So to see him back and now claiming I'm going to be making all of my guitars in the USA now just stunk to high heaven, because I looked at it and I'm like, well, you've got no experience in how to build USA guitars in the USA. And more importantly, There's a reason guitars are manufactured overseas, right? It's cheaper.
Of course it is.
Sure, everyone would love to have a USA built instrument, but the reason you don't is because they cost an arm and a leg, because the manufacturing cost is so high, right? Just think about that. It's cheaper, even to do it the more expensive way, to source wood in America, send it to China, have the guitar made, and then have that guitar sent all the way back across the world than it is to just make it where you got the wood from.
I don't even think that's what Lance done, to be fair, but I get your point.
Yeah.
Just so we're not like misleading anyone who
Sure.
doesn't know the scenario.
So over a period of years, the plan was we are going to set up a USA factory. Long and the short of it is that never happened. No USA guitars were ever made. He went to NAMM with his USA artists. There were no guitars there that you could play. All of the guitars were put together in the car park outside, and people weren't allowed to play them at the NAMM show because they were literally unplayable.
Yep, the CNC had been given the wrong
None of the guitars matched up.
temperances.
Like the
That's
scale lengths were all off and everything.
Yep,
Like
I think the
guitars,
neck pockets were wrong too.
Yeah, they were an absolute disaster.
Just non-functioning.
So I've been reporting on this, and I actually even did an interview with Lance Benedict. You can go on my YouTube channel and see a full hour and a half long interview with Lance, where I really do rake him over the coals to try and get to the bottom of what's going on.
Still waiting on that guitar, aren't you?
I know, yeah, I know.
Can't wait till that USA TTM turns up. We can
Anyway,
get the fire pit on the go.
so there's another website called allthatshreds.com. And that website is run and owned by a gentleman by the name of Andrew Catania. Okay? I assume that's pronounced correctly. Right.
I'm guessing as well.
He has done an infinitely better job of talking about TTM than I ever could, because he's really like a dog with a bone with it. He is the kind of man that will spend the money dealing with agencies and requesting copies of paperwork for things. So he is the man that here's court documents involving Lance Benedict. I've filed for public information requests. Here's evidence of this lawsuit, and here's evidence of this thing and that thing, and here's evidence that he's dissolving TTM Guitars, the LLC that he owns. He is dissolving that to try and get out of money that is owed to people. Yeah.
It's not going to go that way, Lancey boy. Sorry to tell you.
So TTM Guitars LLC was dissolved, even though he made public statements saying, Andrew's lying about this, it's not going to happen. That's not happening. Well, that did happen. People started getting guitars, and all of the guitars were manufactured in China, and they were rubbish.
Oh, but wait. There were free gifts.
Yeah, they were free gifts.
This is your placeholder guitar until your USA super custom turns up. You're going to get that fresh, straight off the mill, not Chinese, promise you not Chinese. Didn't come off AliExpress.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Well, there's an important part that goes with that free gift, right? Part of the terms and conditions when you signed up for the endorsement was once you've received your free gift, you won't be entitled to a refund anymore.
I don't remember that actually being mentioned, because I don't think anyone said anything about getting free gifts.
Because lots of people have now realised this because they got their free gifts and are still trying to get their refunds. And Lance is saying, you can't have a refund. Check you've got your free gift. You can't have a refund. Nowhere does that work, because otherwise that's just how you do business. Yep. Oh, you want a transcription from me? You want to buy a transcription? Fine. But, once you've got an email in response from me, you can't actually get a refund. So what I'm actually just going to do is respond to your email, take your money, and then never deliver anything, because contractually I don't need to.
Surely that would count as a tacit agreement.
Yeah.
Which does not hold up in court.
Sure.
Sorry, Lance.
Yeah.
I am not a lawyer, which seems to be your catchphrase these days, right?
I've got a t-shirt coming out with that on it. I got a message yesterday saying that head to allthatshreds.net, okay? Lance Benedict has created allthatshreds.net. Now, of course, I mentioned Andrew's website is allthatshreds.com. This is where you can find out everything you need to know about Lance Benedict. And the important thing is it's all backed up with evidence, documentation, legal documents.
Oh, even to the point where Andrew says, anybody can do this. These are all public documents. Yeah. Just put in a freedom request in for freedom of information request, or here, do this. These are all county published. Anybody can get them.
Yes.
Here's how for everything. Everything.
Yeah. So this website has none of that. And we're going to read the entire website because it is fucking hilarious.
Oh,
really, legally speaking, I could absolutely contact my lawyer and say, right, I want this guy done for defamation.
Absolutely.
Because this is clear
libel,
defamation. Yes.
Libel, written, slander, spoken?
Yes. Yes, but they all fall under the blanket of defamation.
So defamation just covered. Cool, okay,
Sure.
sorry. There's Levi, I am not a lawyer, giving
not
his
a lawyer.
legal advice to me.
Yeah. So it's hilarious, and I could be annoyed by this, but I'm just not, right? So allthatshreds.net. I should also throw this out, right? Allthatshreds.net. Lance Benedict has also registered the trademark for All That Shreds as a way of trying to take Andrew's thing away from him, which is funny, and Andrew's a little bit annoyed by that, and he'll get that sorted, but it is quite funny. So let's read this. This website is dedicated to exploiting, is that the right word? And exposing career criminal and cyber stalker Andrew Catania. Right, okay. If you have been victimized by this person, please call the authorities and put him back in his jail cell where he belongs.
Right, the dead giveaway for me is, and this is maybe won't work for anyone who hasn't looked up anything that Lance Benedict has psychopathically written on Facebook. That is just the way he writes about things, isn't it? Like as if it's like
it's sensationalism.
The only way I can describe it is he thinks he's smarter than you.
Yes.
He writes like he thinks he's smarter than you, like he's megalomaniac, like, haha, no one will ever know that it was me that done it. Like, no.
Yeah.
Like, you're a transparent dick.
Yes. There are no real claims that are made here, right? No actual claims, no evidence presented of anything. I know that things in the past that Lance has said is that he made up a rap sheet for Andrew. Made it up, right? And the evidence for this is the fact that you can check Andrew's military record, right? Andrew is a veteran who served in the military. He is also a registered voter, okay? You cannot, in the States, be a registered voter if you are a felon. You cannot serve in the military if you are a felon, right? So for career criminal cyberstalker, he goes on to call him a felon several times, saying that he's violating his parole and that the FBI and his parole officer have been contacted. Hang on a minute. Surely if you've contacted his parole officer and he's violating his parole, he'll be in jail right now, right? I want to say, how does nobody see through this? I think we're now at the stage where everyone does see through this, and we're really just laughing at Lance Benedict. I will point this out, though. So you see this video that is up here?
I never watched it.
Okay, so see this? Mm-hmm. This isn't Andrew, okay?
Right.
But this is Andrew's property. This is where Andrew lives. Okay?
So the claim is by whoever made this website, clearly fucking Lance, that Andrew is a cyberstalker.
Yeah.
So your answer to calling someone a cyberstalker is to go to their property and film random people from a car.
Yes. That's worrying though, right? Because Andrew lives in Florida, Lance lives in California. They're on the other side of the country.
That's a big journey.
Yeah. So no, Lance didn't go. That isn't Lance.
Oh,
There's
so he's some other fucking crony.
Exactly. Well, he has family in Florida, right?
Makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, of course. Lance is your classic Florida man, isn't he?
Meth and business ideas.
So I'm going to click on the All That Shreds scam, because again, it's only 4 paragraphs. Career criminal Andrew Catania has duped dozens of people, and they have fallen for his scam. When you scam people, isn't the goal to take money from them? Like, the only thing that Andrew has done regarding TTM guitars is spend his own money to expose your shit. Right. He works for a competitor of TTM guitars. No evidence. Okay.
Who?
Yeah, and has intentionally misled them into believing that TTM Guitars is not a reputable company.
Well, it isn't, because it's been dissolved.
TTM Guitars, you're being sued for literally hundreds of thousands of dollars.
And not only that, people who actually bought into your business are the most vocal in saying that this is a scam and that the company is not reputable.
Yeah.
There are multiple accounts online, funnily enough, given by Andrew Catania, showing legal documentation of all the shit that you are facing.
Yeah. Amazing. Andrew Catania has a rap sheet longer than his smear campaign and is on parole for cyberstalking and harassment, theft, and many other crimes. Do not fall prey, to his scam. Contact the authorities and report his fraudulent activities.
Right, can I just say something, right?
Please do.
See, when I read this, right, I just imagine Lance Benedict thinking, well, if Donald Trump can do it, I can do it. And just him going like, career criminal, Andrew Catania.
Yeah.
and doing that big mad pout and all that, as if like sitting in his house as if like I can say anything I want, and as long as I say it loud enough, people will believe it. And he was right to a degree, because that did happen.
Yeah.
You can be an endorsee,
Yeah.
join the world's fastest growing and soon to be biggest guitar company.
Sure.
Right, cool. How many guitars have you sent out? What do you mean?
Yeah.
Well, surely it'd be the
It's
biggest.
literally years on now. Sorry, let me rephrase that. It's literally years on now. And still no guitars. So
1 million customers and nil guitars.
yeah,
Fucking joke.
let's keep reading.
Yes.
All
Oh,
that
what page is this? Sorry, this is a
This is
all that shreds
All
scam.
That Shreds scam, which is funny actually, because again, Lance Benedict has registered the trademark for All That Shreds, so he's essentially calling himself a scammer now. But
What I find fantastic, right? I've not mentioned this so far, is that obviously Lance hasn't put his name on this.
oh, don't read that page. I hope you're not going to say that.
No.
Oh, good God.
I'm just saying, like, because so far what we've read, he's not put his name on it, right? He's just said that Andrew's a bad man and he's after TTM guitars.
Sure.
I wonder who would have the vested interest to point out that Andrew is going after a certain company that has a very bad reputation at the moment.
So, question: Are you essentially saying, while there's no proof that this is run by Lance Benedict, the evidence would suggest that it may be?
Potentially.
Right.
Allegedly.
The allthatshreds.net trademark
Yes.
is registered by Lance Benedict.
That's what I mean. He's not put his name on it, but he's not exactly covered his tracks.
Yeah.
And as you said, the other page is
yeah.
some great
Right.
evidence too.
All That Shreds is a scam publication that spreads lies and smear campaigns for clickbait and payments from competitors of TTM guitars.
Fake news!
Don't fall victim to his scam. He is only out to make himself look like a hero when that cannot be farther from the truth. TTM Guitars has thousands of happy customers worldwide, and this person has been hired as a stupid pawn to denigrate the brand.
It's a big word for a man that's going to jail.
I know. It's a big word from a man who named his company Taller Than Midgets.
Ironic.
If you have been contacted by him, you are being scammed, plain and simple.
Please read these court documents about how Lance is going to jail.
Yeah.
Give me £500.
You
sorry, what part of that didn't happen in the conversation?
I know.
That's right.
Look up his record and you will see that he has already served time for these and other related crimes. Why not provide that evidence? If you befriend him, you are working with a known felon.
Wait. He's not said what he was charged with. He's just said,
course.
look up his record and you will see that he's already served time for these.
Yeah.
These what?
Yeah.
I think if he finds you, Lance, he'll be serving for these hands, because you're going to get fucking killed.
I genuinely do think that Lance believes this. I genuinely do think that he has looked up the name Andrew Catania and there is a criminal named this.
I think he's gutted that he couldn't have Incubus on his endorsees list, just so that he could say that Megalomania was wrote about him.
Yeah. TTM Guitars has done nothing but good for people, and this creep is trying to persuade people that TTM is not a reputable company. This guy will soon be back where he belongs, in jail. So I'll read my favourite page. Levi Clay is a fraud. Andrew Catania works with Levi Clay, a fraud and a coward, hiding his identity and making false and defamatory remarks against TTM Guitars.
Is that you? I can't tell. It looks like you're hiding your face.
I've
I've never seen you put your name in anything you've said online.
Oh no one actually knows my name. Is he implying that Levi Clay's not actually my name? Like,
Maybe.
I know people...
I mean, I couldn't believe. I can understand why. When I first met you, I was like, Levi Clay is too cool a name to be the real name.
I hear that all the time. But no, Levi Clay is my name.
That's a fucking humble brag if ever I heard it. I mean, people think my name is too cool for
Well,
me
I
to
hate
be-
it.
to be real.
And everyone hates their own
No,
name,
you
but-
fucking don't.
I do.
You sign Levi Clay with a star above the I.
And a crown on the Y.
I hate my own name.
Yeah, but I did that...
Signs his fucking signature with these little...
Well, I did that when I was 13. I thought it was cool and trendy.
Oh, so what's your excuse now?
You changing things is hard.
No, it's not.
I just don't think...
If I was working in the bank and you came in to lift money and you didn't just write a scribble, you wrote Levi Clay with a crown and a star, I would be way more suspicious of you then than if you'd just written like... Blah, blah, blah.
I'd be way more suspicious of somebody that went into a bank and had to sign something to take money out.
You know what I mean? You
I
fucking
know,
smart ass. Anyway, sorry, let's continue, you fraudster.
Yeah, I know. So I'm hiding my identity. And this is my favourite part. If these guys weren't cowards, they would go face to face with TTM. They won't, because they are weak, cowardly peasants. Lance, I've literally done an hour and a half video interview with you, mate. Like, I'm not. I'll go face to face anytime you utter goon. Okay, finally, the thing that really gives it away. Lance Benedict, Guitar Hero. This is an actual... This is an actual page.
Fucking tremendous.
An actual page that he wrote.
Oh,
right?
man.
Lance Benedict has repeatedly and falsely been smeared and slandered by Andrew Catania, Levi Clay, and others. They have been served with cease and desist letters and have been reported to the FBI, DOJ, and AG. Right, okay. Where is this letter? Where's this cease and desist? Where has this happened?
Oh, fuck knows, man.
And also, I've only talked about TTM without you twice. Right, so surely it should be at the stage now where you're on there. Surely you should be getting stuff.
I hope so.
I hope you get one of these cease and desists.
I would love that. I think that would be fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
cease and desist what? Calling you a wank?
I know.
Because no legal paper is going to stop me calling you a wank. Right, here, just before we go any further, right? I've had a quick look on Skyscanner. For anyone unaware, Skyscanner is a website you can use to compare flight prices, right?
Sure.
Lance, if you want to fly from San Francisco International, right, so it must be not close to you if you're California, to Glasgow, right, you're about maybe 550 quid, roughly, okay? It's not a lot of money for someone who has a lot of money coming in and none going out, allegedly. If you do that, I'll pick you up from the airport, Levi and I'll take you out to a nice meal. The next day, we'll all fight, and then you can fly home.
When you say all fights, you mean like a three-way fight?
I'm talking like
you and me as well. Like
well, I mean, he can pick, right? He can either fight you or he can fight me or we can tag team, right? It's up to he can tell you what, bring a friend, right? You're only talking 1,100 quid. It's not a lot of money for you. I'm sure you've got plenty sitting about.
Just sell an extra guitar that's never going to exist.
That's it. Get one more endorsee, customer.
Yeah.
Fly yourself over. Like I said, we'll pick you up. There's a really beautiful restaurant not far from us that does traditional Scottish cuisine. We'll take you in there. They've got a really nice whiskey snug that you can get lots of different whiskies. We'll treat you. We'll have a good time, right? Make sure you're put up somewhere nice. The next day, fed and watered. Get you some nice
square
overalls,
sausage.
right? If you want, you can even bring your own like robe with your name on the back or
I bet he's got
TTM or
one.
something, right? And like I said, we'll meet down the park. We can even have an official referee if you want. I know a few friends who put a charity event on recently for boxing. We can have adjudicated if you're really that bothered. You can set the rules if you want 3 5-minute rounds, if you want to go for knockout, whatever, and then we'll set it that way because, as you say, apparently we're scared to face you. I mean, Levi's not only spoken to you, I'm sure Andrew's tried many times to get your attention and even just have a conversation with you. It doesn't seem like he's an unreasonable man, despite what you say. Anyway, offer stands. You want to come down? Come down.
I like that. You want to come down? We'll do the traditional Scottish thing. We'll go out. We'll eat haggis. We'll sit in a little snug. We'll have whiskey. You can wake up in the morning. We'll get you some square sausage, and then we'll engage in the traditional Scottish pastime of punching fuck out of each other.
I mean, I think, truthfully, right, for someone who has way more money than me, going to the courts, I mean, I'm not going to win. Plus, in Scotland, or at least in Britain, you can settle small things out of court, trial by combat. So, if this is his... No, I'm serious. There was an old man in his 70s was refused trial by combat because he wanted to fight the parking warden that gave him a ticket over a parking fine. I'm sure that was the story, right? But like they were like, you're like 70, mate. Maybe no, right? Anyway, like, offer stands. You want to come to Scotland and fight? Come on.
Yeah. I'll just finish this page. These guys are career criminals working for competitors. What does that...
I really hope he's not inferring that the business that the Guitars Holes is sponsored by has anything to do with this.
I know.
Because I don't imagine that's going to go down well, Lancey boy.
Oh, actually, so I'd never even considered that as something that's being implied, but you could read that as being something that is being implied there. I actually read that and I saw these guys are career criminals, right? And then completely juxtaposing that against working for competitors. It's like, which is it? Are we criminals or are we employed by people?
You've got a good side hustle. That's what it is.
Yeah. That cannot stand the fact that Lance has created such an amazing brand in a short period of time.
Honestly, man, it's just echoing Donald Trump.
Lance has done so much good for so many people, and these cretins are, and it seems he's got a new paragraph there, spreading false lies and innuendos all around the web. New paragraph. They will, and here's the serious one, they will suffer a very sudden and horrible demise when the truth comes, new paragraph, out about these felons.
So that's a threat.
It is.
That's a threat.
That is a threat.
That's a threat.
And that's actually why I think it's really important to point out that video that was filmed on the first page is outside Andrew's actual property. So you've got a man that is finding people to film outside your property and intimidate you that way, but then also posting actual threats of your sudden and horrible demise. Right? The thing that I find most hilarious about this is imagine being a business owner of your successful business. What does he say? Such an amazing brand in such a short period of time. Right? And using any of your time to do this. You know, like we constantly rip on Gibson, and I'm going to segue into Gibson in a second, constantly. Good. And at no point has Gibson ever done this. Imagine being a customer of this company, right? And looking at this and thinking anything other than, can you maybe spend a little bit less time being a fucking lunatic and maybe make my product?
Yep.
Can you maybe spend a little bit less time making plugins, Tosin, and just make some fucking guitars that I've paid for?
I don't know if I would compare Tosin and Lance just yet.
They are different, but there's the similarity in that there are unhappy customers.
Unaddressed unhappy customers.
Yes.
Right.
So, segue.
Yep, segue. The segue is that if you get a flight here, Lance...
Drink to that.
Hopefully we'll see you soon, Lance. I don't know. TTM... 10 tons of meth. I think that's where the money went.
Yeah, potentially. Allegedly.
There's the catchphrase coming out.
Yeah.
I'm going to be on the website next week.
Yeah.
I've started it, man.
I know.
I'm all in.
That's you making threats.
I never made any threats. It's not a threat to ask a man to fight me.
Mate,
the threat would have been I'll batter you.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen in the fight.
Yeah, you don't care if you get battered. You just want the fight. You're so Scottish. I love it.
I'm going to film it. And the worst comes to worst, it's going on you being framed, and I'm getting £350. Come on, Lance. Well, what have you got to lose?
I have to say, mate, after 50 episodes, that little rant you went on there about tag teaming Lance Benedict in a park is easily your funniest rant. So, bravo.
Thank you. I'm going to give credit where credit's due. That is a Chris Ryan number. Whenever he has a good disagreement with someone online, he'll be like, okay, I found flights for you. This is what you're going to do. You're going to come here. We're going to have a fight.
Okay. So on to Gibson, and we'll do this as fast as humanly possible. Gibson CEO addresses the Play Authentic controversy and the Dean lawsuit drama and talks future plans. So in a recent conversation with Guitar.com, Gibson CEO James, is that Curley?
Yes.
So I've known him as JC, right? But is his name actually James Curley?
Does he get curly hair?
He does.
Damn, son.
Wow.
Did you get bullied at school? Is that why you're all about Play Authentic? Respect my authority.
I just take issue with his responses. So when talking about the Play Authentic controversy, he says, I really wanted to say that our intentions were straightforward, but the interpretations went sideways.
I'm just a man whose intentions are good.
Yeah.
Please don't let me be misunderstood. Shut up, JC.
Yeah,
I don't think lying bastard. You were trying your hardest to claw as much money as you could out of your competitors with no work. And it's shat all over you. Shat upon you from a great height. Tens and tens of tons of shit.
I'd agree, right, if that their intentions are straightforward, the interpretations went sideways, if it just stopped with the Mark Agnesi Play Authentic video, right? Mm-hmm. But you filed lawsuits. You filed trademark applications in Europe and you lost them all. Like, how can people be misinterpreting these things?
No, I think what he means is our intentions were straightforward. We just wanted money. The interpretation went sideways when people just didn't give us money.
Yeah. The interpretations went sideways when judges didn't interpret our cases in our favor.
We didn't interpret that you would have to actually protect your copyrights and your trademarks.
So Gibson had threatened guitar builders about copying the company's trademark designs. And we've talked about actually Vagina guitars, right? For those unfamiliar, the funniest guitar brand in the world. I don't own one. I've never played one. But, while I have guitars that I would prefer to play, I have instruments that I love and enjoy.
I'd love to touch a Vagina.
Yeah, I would absolutely love to get my hands on a Vagina.
I consider myself virginal, having never touched one.
For anyone unfamiliar, Vagina Guitar is the funniest guitar company in the world, right? And he's constantly having issues with Gibson and their legal department.
Sorry to interrupt. The last time we spoke about this was the last time I saw him seriously posting on Facebook, and that was after the big Gibson thing where he basically he got quite a serious cease and desist.
He has posted a few things.
I haven't seen much.
Anytime
and I feel
something
bad
goes
that
on,
way.
he's laughing about their situation.
Good.
We'll follow up with him.
Good. Yeah, would love to get him on, I think.
Yeah. So the CEO also pointed out that let me just remind everyone, we're 8 months into this turnaround. 8 months. We've already launched a new collection connected with artists, and all the launches that you've heard about today with the foundation and collaborations. My vision is that 1 year after we sort of set up the new Gibson, if we've learned a lot of lessons and we've pivoted and gotten stronger for it, then we're going to be stronger for the future. And while the smoke was up a few weeks ago, honestly, I put on the noise cancellation headphones, the Gibson ones, right?
It's noise cancelling headphones for you, dick.
Yeah, imagine talking about how great things have been going for us and that we're, new collection, new models, reaching out to artists, and then also plug in the fact that you're now making headphones, Gibson ones. Long history of making headphones. We're so proud of them.
It's not just that. While the smoke was up a few weeks ago, honestly, I put on the noise cancellation headphones. So when things weren't going your way, you muted everything going on. There's a common theme here. And these guitar companies have going, things are really good. Oh, but wait, sir, there's a fire. Everything's great.
Yeah,
woo! If I don't notice it didn't happen.
Yeah. So
fucking loonies are running an asylum, man.
What he'd said was, we're going to make the pivot from confrontation to collaboration, and it starts now. I don't want to mince my words as a leader. Sorry, I don't mince my words as a leader. My dad was a general, because talk about being a veteran and suddenly people take you seriously in America. And when you say it, you do it. And then we pivoted hard into this collaboration mode, whether it's with brands like, Thalia? Or with other boutique guitar companies that we've announced today, or as an apparel company, or quite frankly, collaborating with artists, right?
So you're not collaborating with any of the companies you tried to sue?
Yeah, so I don't want to keep going on and reading this nonsense, but it's backpedaling. It's exactly what I'd suspected, right? You are trying to get guitar companies that use Gibson shapes to acknowledge that they took those shapes from you. And in exchange for them acknowledging that, I would imagine you're agreeing that you won't sue them, right? You won't cause them legal problems. And the only reason that you would do that, in my humble opinion, as I'm not a lawyer, my new catchphrase is I'm not a lawyer, I am the law.
I anal.
Yeah. I'm not a lawyer, but I would imagine that the only reason you'd want to do that is so you would have more legal argument when it comes to you trying to file for trademarks for the Les Paul shape, etc., that you can demonstrate a history of the industry acknowledging that you own the shapes. Fuck this guy. Fuck
him. Fuck the guy before. Potentially fuck the guy after.
So what's going on with Knotfest? Slipknot's Knotfest.
Oh, this is... when I first posted it, I was like, oh my goodness. And then the more I read about it, the more it was like, I don't know what side I'm on. So...
Tell me.
This is from metal1e.com. Things have gotten out of control last night at Knotfest, Mexico. This was posted like a day or two ago. I think it was just over the weekend. I'm pretty certain it was just over this weekend.
Yep.
Yes. So, Slipknot have cancelled the festival after fans crossed barricades and things went berserk. Slipknot have just shared a statement about the cancelled Knotfest Mexico because a broken barricade and failed attempts to fix it. The band were forced to cancel the shows last night. Them and Evanescence actually both cancelled. I don't know who else played. So, the statement as Slipknot have put it out as because of a broken barricade and failed attempts to fix it, Slipknot were forced to cancel our performance last night. Safety, especially the safety of our fans and fellow bands, is priority number one. We apologise profusely and hope you all understand. If anything were to happen to any of you, we wouldn't forgive ourselves. Also, if we could have fixed the barricade correctly, we would have gone on stage. Again, we hope you all understand and we'll try to make it up to you as soon as we can. Evanescence also shared a statement just saying, we are heartbroken we didn't get to play for you tonight, Mexico City. Your safety, your life is more important than any show. We love you and we'll be back soon. That's a promise. So, my initial reaction to this was, something else has happened. What a lot of shite. But for what I've managed to interpret, for looking at a couple of different sources, is essentially fans were super rowdy. Mm-hmm. Whether the fences or barricades were up to scratch or not, they were continually being pushed and trampled forward. That's what happens at any gig, right?
As happens.
But they couldn't secure whatever happened, right? So when they were trying to secure it, the bands were essentially all delayed. Eventually, the comment came forward saying, it's not happening, no one's playing because we can't secure this, it's not safe, which I think's fair for any band. But then, the people in attendance, or some of them, stormed the stage and smashed up a lot of gear, setting like the desk on fire and stuff. I think that was Evanescence's equipment.
Right.
Like, you're angry the band aren't playing, so you're going to disable the only way they can play for you? What the fuck?
Yeah, it's an interesting thing to do. Actually, the thing I take from this, just to get political for a second, is evidently there's no point building walls because they'll just get knocked down. The Mexicans, they bust over those damn walls.
Maybe it was top security. You never know.
Yeah. I really don't know what to take from this, how I feel about this.
What I said to people I was talking to about it on Facebook and such was just, I think there's probably more to this story than anything's been reported on. Like, I don't believe there's one bit of barricade wasn't working, we're not playing, and then there was like a riot. I think something else has happened in between that's flared between the band is the event organisers, the insurance company probably.
That's what I was going to say.
And then the fans have reacted. And I don't want to speculate to say anything negative about fans, but really, storming the stage and setting things on fire.
Sure.
Like,
well, I've not seen a Slipknot show in a long time, right? But the last time I saw a Slipknot show, there was a lot happening. There was a lot of fire, and it was an over-the-top dramatic show, as you'd expect. They're a very, very theatrical band, and I would imagine that a huge part of getting insurance for a show of that magnitude is having all of these important clauses in your contract. And one of those would absolutely be that no audience member, no person that's not part of the trained member of the show can be within X distance of said stage.
Yeah.
So I kind of see what Slipknot are saying with their, that your lives are more important, right? I do get that.
Correct.
And that does make sense. But the other part of it, also from maybe a more selfish way of looking at it, from Slipknot's perspective, is absolutely... Well, even if there's no fire involved in the show, having that barrier there is a protection for the band as well. And as demonstrated 20, 30 minutes after, when the fans decided to rush the stage, you know what I mean? Like, if there was no barricade there, what's to stop that happening midway through the show? The barricade is for everyone's protection.
Yes.
It keeps the artists, like us, separate from the peasants, like you.
Dangerous.
I know.
I mean... My first thought when I thought about this and the barricade and security, etc., wasn't even the pyrotechnics or the stage show or whatever. It was, you remember what happened with Dimebag and Nathan Gale?
Yeah.
Like, that was a one-off horrendous tragedy, and we'd never want that to happen again. And I'm not saying that's what was going to happen or any of that shit, but I can see why, given what happened and how prevalent Dimebag was in the metal community, just as an icon himself, that people would take the security much more serious.
Sure.
Not even talking about security in terms of the stage show going awry, pyrotechnics hurting someone, someone falling off the stage and hurting themselves, like stupid shit that could happen to anybody.
Yes.
Like, fuck that.
Yeah. And so, like, obviously an artist being shot in the face is so unlikely to happen, but it has happened. But someone falling off the stage and hurting themselves, I mean...
Musicians do it.
Familiar with Lamb of God?
Oh, don't.
Was that not what happened there?
I don't know. Genuinely don't know. I don't want to open a can of worms.
Sure. But
you do, though.
No, but what I'm getting at is I'm not trying to, like, stir up shit or anything. I'm just saying that, like, it's so easy for an accident to happen, for someone to fall off a stage like that, or even just be pushed off, like... Because of the Dimebag thing, right? If I was playing in Slipknot and you as a fan come on the stage, okay, I'm going to do my best to get you the fuck off the stage as fast as humanly possible.
You're absolutely
Stay away from me. Stay away from me. Let me do my job. You enjoy the show type thing.
Yes.
And that could result in you getting hurt. That could result in me being prosecuted for a murder.
Yep.
In a foreign country.
It's true.
Yeah.
You see the level of disrespect and disconnect from that basic decency in, like, function bands and wedding bands. And I'm sure alcohol's a big factor of that, right? But people, like, almost climbing onto the wedding bands and harassing the guitarist or the singer and pint glasses over the top of your pedal board and, like, try to grab the microphone and one more song, all that shit. And then you think, like, if you were at a level where you were able to negate that as much as possible, you would also get on top of that. And you can see why these guys probably do take such what you maybe deem extreme measures to avoid
Yep.
any sort of conflict that could put them in trouble
Yeah.
or in jeopardy, health and safety, or financially, or reputation, or whatever. Aye, totally.
Obviously, like, we'll close by saying it's a shame that this happened. But staying on Slipknot,
This one is just...
Slipknot's Jay Weinberg, who
cares?
named best metal drummer in the world right now. Now, of course, this is a clickbaity title, and this could be more offensive if it were, this was written by Ultimate Guitar or whatever, and it was just Ultimate Guitar's writers that just decided who, just to drum up some clicks, right? This isn't that. This is actually from a fan poll for Rhythm magazine. I don't know if you've ever read Rhythm magazine.
I have not.
I used to read
personally.
Rhythm magazine when I was younger. It's like the Guitar Techniques equivalent. It's the sister magazine to Guitar Techniques.
Okay, right.
Full of educational content, more teaching than article type.
Okay.
Great magazine.
No disrespect to Jay, he is a fantastic drummer. The fact that he came in not on the heels of, but right behind Joe Jordison, I mean, it must be good. But
It's just any time you use the word best, you've already lost.
aye,
Because there are people that you're just unaware of. This is best metal drummer in the world based on the limited knowledge that I have.
not even like you don't even need to look outside of metal. There's guys in extreme metal who probably play twice as fast and technical as Jay, and that's no disrespect to Jay as a player, but best based on a very, very limited scope.
Yeah. Who?
In mainstream metal is metal category, right? Okay.
I'm just trying to think like other metal bands that would jump out to me as being, but more obvious candidates for something like this.
Soilwork, you'd fucking, what do you call them? Played drums for Devon for a wee bit as well. Dirk Verburen, monster. Ryan Van Poederoyen, who played with Devon Townsend as well, ridiculous metal drummer. You've got Samus Policelli, who played with... It's not Septical Gorge, it's not Visceral Disgorge. Oh... Forgive me.
Meshuggah is a drummer.
Thomas Hack.
Yeah.
Ray Luzier, I don't know how he came third because I think he's a ridiculously technical drummer. The guy that joined Korn, who was originally a drum tech.
Matt Halpern.
Matt Halpern, again, ridiculous drummer.
Great drummer.
Oh, aye. Like, big on feel, can still do everything else you wanted me to. Paul Bostaff, getting number 2.
Yeah.
Paul Bostaff was even the best drummer in Slayer. I'm not being an arse, the guy's good.
Sure.
But then you see Lombardo doing
Yeah.
those mental fast kicks with so much force, just normal beaters for Angel of Death.
Yeah.
Fuck, Gene Hoglan's not there. Like,
Yeah. Also, they've put Ray from Korn. I assume Ray has a last name. They just didn't know.
Luzier.
There you go. This is what happens with these clickbaity articles. And, we are saying all these drummers that we think are better than this. But again, that's not conclusive, is it? These are just the names that pop into our head. There'll be a bunch of people that either don't pop into our head or that we're unaware of that that people would argue about all day. And that's why magazines love writing about shit like this.
Even better, just going back to the original point is the one that you made is the best one. The minute you use best when you're talking about a person and technique, you've already lost.
Yes.
There is no best.
Only
most
if,
favoured.
Yeah, well, only if the thing that you're judging them on best is measurable.
Speed.
So you could say who is the fastest drummer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably going to be Marco Petruzzello.
You could argue... No, you couldn't argue about who the fastest drummer is. You could argue about who the most technical drummer is because that involves a degree of interpretation. Mm-hmm. But you could argue... objectively say who the loudest drummer is. You know what I mean? Like, these are things where you can absolutely say this person is number one.
It's funny because even when you talk about being fastest, you're like, well, you're talking fastest in terms of fastest playing a full beat, fastest doing fills, fastest literally on snare. Is it single or double strokes? Are you allowed to gravity blast? Is it like kicks? Do you have to do single stroke? Do you have to double stroke on feet? Like,
you wouldn't possibly be able to say overall. It would have to be each category.
Yep.
And some people would absolutely be interested by that. If you are, you've kind of missed the point of music.
I don't know as much. I think Well, if that's the only quantitative thing you want to talk about, then yes. But fast as a tool and as a context to add to texture in music is a different thing, I think.
Right, I want to talk about someone that that is going to get me accused of misogyny again.
In fact, there's a good point. In fact, Daniel Lanson's fucking some drummer.
Yep.
Sorry.
That'll give people an idea of who we're going to talk about now.
When I posted this, I was like, what was the comment? Something like, Levi, you're going to have a fucking field day with this one, mate.
Fucking
You're going to love it.
Arch Enemy's Michael Mott says Alyssa White glues? I fucking know. Has been treated very unfairly by metal media in recent months.
I'll drink to that.
I'll argue with that.
That's why I'm having a drink. I'm ready for it.
So, for those unfamiliar, Arch Enemy's current singer got into a lot of hot water.
Oh, strong.
Yeah, a lot of hot water when she tried to use photographs that she didn't own.
And doubled down on it.
Yeah, then absolutely doubled down on it when pressed to make a small donation. Sorry, I've actually missed out a key detail. She didn't use them. The person that makes her clothing used them. And when that person was asked by the original photographer to make a small donation to a cancer charity in lieu of a license fee, rather than, dealing with that and looking at whether or not the photographer is correct, the apparel designer just went straight to Alyssa, and Alyssa just blew up because her attitude is very clearly, I say it's my opinion, it is my opinion, right? But it happens over and over again. Her opinion is that she is the most fucking important person in the world. Her opinion of herself is higher than my opinion of myself.
Lance too.
Yeah, so she went absolutely fucking tonto on this guy.
Yeah.
And got so much backlash. And the reason she got so much backlash is because I don't know how old she is, so I don't want to call her a stupid little girl. I'm playing on someone's age there rather than their sex, right? But she just came across as a stupid little girl when she wrote this. Like, she has no understanding of how the legalities of the industry that she fucking works in work.
You missed out two key details.
Two key details.
Right? The photographer was banned from any upcoming or future Arch Enemy shows ever.
Yep.
I don't think it's probably enforceable considering him into festivals and stuff.
He has since been thrown out of Arch Enemy shows.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep.
So fuck you. And secondly, I think it doesn't matter who it was, where they're from, age, creed, sex, race, whatever. It's such a naive way to do business when you are a public figure, at least in that respect, to have that headbutting when you are clearly in the wrong.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll let you continue.
Yeah, so that was one kind of big story that you can look up, and the guy's name is Juan Salmeron, and he, if memory serves me right, he's a cool guy. I would encourage you to read his story because it's a great article, very well written, and he knows what he's talking about. He is a lawyer, unlike me. He is a lawyer. So he knows what he's talking about. But since then, she has been accused by the singer of her former band, The Agonist, of trying to hold the group back, even though she's left the group 5 years ago. Now, it would easily be argued that it's in the interest of The Agonist to make complaints like that, because it gives them a little bit of PR, right? I do get that. But there was very definitely a period where she was technically with The Agonist. She knew she was also with Arch Enemy. She knew she had zero time to commit to being in The Agonist. But she still tried to convince them that she did have time while not mentioning the fact that she was joining Arch Enemy. Trying to keep that a secret, right? Stopping the band essentially from being able to make an informed decision on what they were going to be doing moving forward. And she does seem to have been a gigantic cockbag. Which again sounds rather misogynistic, but I don't mean I'd say that about Guy as well. But she seems like a gigantic cockbag about The Agonist. She also has a Patreon, and I don't take any issue with having a Patreon. As many people know, I have my own Patreon, and it's a great source of like my monthly earnings. But plug patreon.com/Levi Clay. My Patreon's important to me, right? But that's because people will pay into my Patreon and they get this in return. Well, not necessarily the show, but the fact that I'm making content for my guys on Patreon all the time.
Correct.
And I'm engaging with those guys. So you pay in money and support my work, and it helps me to continue doing my work. Well, she wasn't really offering anything in return. She was essentially just doing her typical, oh, yeah, I'll send you some photos. And of course, there's nothing inherently wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that if that's what you're doing. But also, you're the singer of Arch Enemy, right? You shouldn't be needing to additionally go to fucking Patreon to be making money. This is someone that values their self so highly that they think, at least in my opinion, she absolutely thinks, well, I'd be stupid to not take advantage of this other avenue for revenue. Like, Angela Gossow would never have done this.
Angela's the manager. She definitely would have done that. Angela has given Alyssa...
She's not doing it now.
Angela has given Alyssa every pointer in the book.
Yeah.
And I think Angela didn't do it because she's not on the pulse like Alyssa is. That's the only reason
Okay.
I think it's not happening. But personally, again, total fucking my opinion, nothing else.
Sure. Yeah,
But-
I mean, obviously, I'm talking purely like
Do you not remember-
speculating.
That Angela weighed in on this scenario as well. Don't you bully my Alyssa, don't you ever come to this gig again. Like,
Yeah.
fucking shut up. Like, you
Well,
don't have a clue.
Yeah, actually, I was actually... So I made videos on this, and they were actually rather popular. I did a video that featured your brother, K-Mac. Did the vocals for my cover of We Will Rise, aptly titled We Tell Lies. That's still like my 5th most popular video.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's the only time I've ever used that beautiful Mayonnaise Evertune True Temperament guitar on anything. It's just still in a box. I'll do something with it at some point. Anyway, yeah. So for Michael Amott to come out now, let's read the quotes.
But to put it in context, Michael Amott was on a podcast by Matt McGahey, I want to pronounce that as, the vocalist from Cryptopsy,
Yep.
called Vox and Hops. And I think they basically drink beer. They get a sponsorship from whatever beer per week, and they drink. I've heard of it. I know a few guys that have been on it.
I feel like we should get a sponsorship from some whiskey company.
Highland Park, get the finger out.
Speaking about the way that Alyssa has been portrayed in the metal media, Michael said, yeah, it's very unfair towards Alyssa, I feel. Recently, there's been very few unfair things, unfair towards her. I know quite well now, after spending 5 years on the road with her and working with her very closely, but it's always going to be more interesting when, 1, she's female, right, okay. 2, she's in one of the most popular metal bands.
False.
Okay, right. 3, she's very vocal about certain issues. Yeah, of course, she's a vegan. Oh, right, yeah. Like veganism and stuff like that. Notice he couldn't think of other examples. But that's very positive, and she can use social media to her advantage to spread that message. But there's a backlash sometimes, and it's a back and forth, so it can swing both ways. Those are the times that we live in. It amazes me. I'd be very surprised if at some point Arch Enemy haven't sat down with Alyssa and said, look, you need to shut up.
Sorry to weigh in, right? I know you're in the throes of
Your
this. and
podcast too.
No, but I know you're like, this is like your hot topic, man.
Sure.
This is the fucking, the red buzzer one for you, isn't it? Like, bang, 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 let me talk. What has veganism got to do with your band?
Sure. Well, I mean, I see the argument. I know the argument that would be made. Like, veganism isn't just about your band; it's about your entire lifestyle. It's who you are. It's what you believe, and it's what you think is the most important thing for the planet. It's kind of like saying, "What's religion got to do with your band?" If you genuinely feel that unless you interject in other people's lives, they're going to spend eternity burning in hell, then damn right you're going to spend as much time as possible trying to convert people. So, if she does feel that she's trying to save the planet and being a more compassionate person, then I understand why it will seep into absolutely everything. But it's definitely not about being more compassionate, is it? Or she would have, actually done a bit of research and not stolen a photographer's work. She would have been a little bit more compassionate there. It's holier than thou. Something about her rubs me up the fucking wrong way, right? And I know
You're
that there is a subsection of the internet, and maybe even Michael Amott, based on what he says here, because she's a woman. It's not that she's a woman that rubs me up the wrong way, because for most of my life, Arch Enemy have been one of my favourite metal bands. And they became one of my favourite metal bands when they stopped having a male singer. And it wasn't because I listened to them and went, oh, isn't it sexy that they have a female singer? No, because that just doesn't end up my like.
Arch Enemy's best music has got Angela Gossow on it, and
Yeah.
not because Angela Gossow's there. It's because the songs are great.
Yes.
The lyrics are dog shit. The vocals blend in with the rest of the. I'm not being an arsehole, right?
Sure.
Like, her lyrics are dog shit. We Will Rise is shit. That line itself is terrible, right?
Yep. I loved them because the combination of Michael and Christopher Amott, and more so Christopher than Michael. So actually, when Angela left the band, didn't care because Christopher had already left. That was the thing that really drew me in. I didn't listen to them because they had a female vocalist, and I also didn't refuse to listen to them because they had a female vocalist. Like,
it didn't make a difference. It's cool that she was there,
yes,
but that's not a deciding factor, left or right.
Yes.
Up or down, away from or towards. I totally agree, right?
Yeah.
Female fronted is not a genre. It's not, right?
It's a marketing term.
It is, right? And the loudest advocates of saying that it's not a genre have been females who front bands that I've seen online.
Fair.
People saying that, like, stop counting us as a genre, we're just musicians.
Yep.
And marketing or whatever aside, if you want to market yourself as female fronted, fucking you wire in, that's up to you. I'm not saying you can't, but it's not a genre. And to then turn the politics on its head of saying she's a woman, so therefore she gets treated unfairly, like, I don't think so. I don't think she's been treated unfairly for being a cunt to somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, like, for full context, maybe there's some other threads on where people are just saying things like, stupid opinion because you're a woman. See those people? Fuck
No
them.
doubt, yeah. Absolutely no doubt. That will happen. That
Fuck
absolutely will happen. Yeah, of course that will happen.
But
Yeah. But that's not the argument we're making. That's never been the argument we're making. And what Michael Amott is essentially trying to do is talking about mainstream media, he's talking about press as a whole. And if you're trying to make that argument, then you're straw manning. You are straw manning the mainstream media. Don't straw man me. I would never take issue with the fact that Alyssa is a woman, right? I don't like her because I think she's garbage in the band. I don't think that she did even close to as good a job as Angela did. But that's also because Christopher's not there. And two,
Jeff Loomis is playing guitar now, isn't he?
Yeah.
I've not listened to any of their stuff past... Fuck, I can't remember the name of the album. It was As the Tyrant Rises?
Rise of the Tyrant.
Rise of the Tyrant, sorry, that's correct, right? It goes to show how much I've listened to them,
Sure.
right? Loved, that was a great album.
Yep.
It wasn't massive on the production to start with, but some incredible guitar work, man.
Yep.
Like, Chris Amott ripping it. And that's when Chris left right after that.
Yes.
And I was like, cool, I think I'm done with Arch Enemy now.
Yep.
And it upsets me that I used to idolise Michael Amott, ex-Carcass player,
Yep.
wrote what I would consider the best melodic death metal album of all time, Heartwork.
Right.
I was part of it at least. But
Yep. Okay,
I don't
let's.
know. I'm fed up talking about this.
know.
Like as if it seems to me as if Michael's made that comment to bring Arch Enemy back into the limelight. Like, look at us, look what's happened, look at the struggle we're going through.
Yeah.
Alyssa gets it hard. Like, I've only heard them mention Arch Enemy in about 2 years, and I'm not being nasty saying that.
You
That's
don't
just
get to have
fact.
it both ways. You don't get to go, oh, Arch Enemy have had it so hard, and it's because we've got a woman as our singer. But then in literally the next point saying we're one of the biggest metal bands. Like, come on, which is it?
It's just
You have it hard because of who's in your band, right? You have it hard because you are not making the material that you were once making.
because she is not a nice person.
Yes. You have it hard because you're all hardcore anarchists, but also so unbelievably capitalist.
That's it.
Okay, right. This one annoys me. And this is where Levi will get to do his not a lawyer, but I am the law. Motley Crue announced tour with Def Leppard and Poison after details leak on the Howard Stern show. Sorry, what? Sorry, Motley Crue are touring again.
That band that will never tour ever again.
Didn't they just do a farewell tour like what, last year, 2 years ago? We talked about it on the show. And I said this is very interesting that they're doing the farewell tour because a farewell tour obviously rakes in a lot of money, and as part of that farewell tour they had to sign contracts saying that they wouldn't tour again. I speculated that they would tour again, but I speculated that they'd probably do it under another name. I don't know how they're going to get around that contract that they had in place that they wouldn't tour again.
It probably didn't exist.
That is okay, that's fair.
Why would a record label want them not to do it?
Well, it's more a promoter thing. Like,
Well, why would a promoter not want Motley Crue, one of the world's biggest bands, not to tour again? Of course they're going to go, yeah, they signed it to say they would never tour again.
fair.
And 2 years later...
Okay.
Because
No,
you know what? I can see the same thing happening with Slayer.
there is absolutely. No fucking doubt. But there is actually a counter to this. So Mick Mars, around that time, did publicly state, and there's been stories about this, did publicly state that this is it, this is the final Motley Crue tour, we will not be touring again.
No wonder, look at him.
Yeah, I know, Jesus Christ.
I'm not being nasty. Can you bring that up on screen? For anybody that's like not watching, Mick Mars is not a well man, and I'm not mocking him for being ill. I'm not being nasty or making fun of him because he genuinely must be in quite a lot of pain.
Sure.
Does he not have like crippling arthritis or something really, really like debilitating? Like it might even be like osteoporosis or something horrendous. But it's like 3 rock stars and without sounding nasty.
Man.
Aye, like an old man, Casper the Friendly Ghost in a black suit with long hair, a cap and sunglasses on. He looks ill.
He looks like a dead Ozzy Osbourne.
Aye, like and without being white.
Ozzy Osbourne pumped Marilyn Manson.
How is he still going?
I know. Well,
I mean, I'm grateful for it.
are you aware of what he'd said?
No.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt.
So,
Continue.
yeah, back in the day when they were doing this farewell tour, he was very public saying Motley Crue won't be touring again. In fact, mark my words, if we ever tour again, you can all come and see us for free. The tickets will be on me. Yeah. So he's a lot of humble pie at the moment on social media, and he's owned it, to be fair, but not in the way you'd want him to own it. He's owned it by just sort of saying, "Oh yeah, but when I said it, I genuinely didn't think we'd ever be touring." But you know, you live and you learn.
£80, please.
Yeah, it's just. I love Motley Crue, like I do love Motley Crue.
I think. Can I just speculate? Sorry to jump in again, right? It's not a coincidence that the Dirt came out round about the same time they were talking about farewell tours. Was it not?
No, the Dirt came out one. Oh, do you mean the film?
The documentary. Or film, the dramatisation on Netflix. That is hype beast material.
Yeah.
Look at all these things we're doing to mark the end of the band. Get to see the full story up until whenever is a super dramatisation, but nearly accurate. And then come and see us one last time.
I have to interrupt and say this smells wonderful.
Done it? It's beautiful.
It's chocolatey.
I don't know about chocolate. I mean, it smells like whiskey to me, but... Okay. I get what you mean.
Yeah, so this rubs me up the wrong way because I think a farewell tour should be honoured, but having said that, you know, Ozzy Osbourne's No More Tears came out in 1991, and the tour for that was called No More Tours. So Ozzy did his No More Tours tour in 1991.
At least Zach Wild stuck to his with No More Beers.
Did he?
I'm pretty sure he's off the beers these days.
He is off the beers these days, yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
It was a really bad joke, Levi. At least humour me.
I mean, it's the guitar solos, mate. Everything that we say is a very bad joke.
That's true.
So,
and we can be held accountable to all of it.
Yeah.
Can't we, Lance?
Yeah.
Sorry, excuse me.
Okay.
Speaking of held accountable.
Yeah, tell me about this, Mike.
So, I'll go context first, right? And I've had this conversation with Levi, and Levi, barely the other end of this island, and didn't understand the context of how serious this is taken. So, in Scotland and Ireland, actually, Ireland as well, there is a silent but violent rivalry or divide between two parts of Christianity, which is Roman Catholics and Protestants. All right? The majority of people aren't bothered by it, but there is a very loud group who are very fierce. And I'm not wanting to say they're right or wrong. They can do what they want. But in my eyes, it just causes great division in the country. And it all goes back to years and years and years ago when Irish immigrants and protests against the English church and blah, 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 right? It's all a lot of shite. You know, look at it. Catholicism versus Protestantism and whatever else, right? Whatever you believe is up to you. I think that the very, very basic level is they don't believe, or Protestants don't believe Mary was a virgin, or it's that the protest was regarding the right to divorce. That's how.
Well, the Church of England spawned off from Roman Catholicism with Henry VIII because he formed his own church because he couldn't get a divorce.
So that's it, right? Like I've lived here all my life. I'm ingrained in the problems it causes, And I still don't have a full view of what really causes it and where it all goes from, right? But to give you a totally boiled down view of it, imagine like Feyenoord and Ajax, if you watch any football in Europe. It's two football teams that have this extreme rivalry. Celtic and Rangers is the Scottish version,
That's
right?
what makes it a lot worse, because it is the religion thing. It's the cultural, the religious difference between groups of people. But then they not only do they have their religion, but they also have their teams.
It's
so
tied
they have
in.
the opportunity to come face to face with each other in a competitive, heated, you win, we lose type thing.
And then it gets into the extremism where you've got ultras or football hooligans who take it to the extreme, and it's became this really weird cultural divide, and to the point where it's getting better as far as I can see. I've not had any real run-ins in the last 10 years, but when I was younger, the conversation you would have with anyone in the street, and I mean like talking 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, if you were in an area you didn't know, or someone was you didn't know was in your area or whatever, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it sounds very territorial. People would ask you questions, and it would be like, where are you from? Right? So depending on which scheme you stayed in, so which like housing estate or area or part of a village or part of a town or part of a city, and then which school you went to, because you would either go to a Catholic school or non-denominational school.
Yep.
It's just like big divides, and that could cause anything from, oh, you're one of us and therefore everyone's okay, or you are so-and-so, and it becomes like people would get genuinely the shit kicked out of them for it, right? So it's extreme. And from this, these two, and I'm going to call them just sects, obviously based in sectarianism, right? The sect of Catholicism and Glasgow Celtic, and the sect of Protestantism and Glasgow Rangers. And this is the two main parties in Scotland. Every other team, even if they are bigger and have better rivalries, don't count in Scottish football. Celtic and Rangers are the big ones because they hold that religious authority, if you want to call it that, or historic authority. Well, it doesn't matter. Anyway, I think it's fucking stupid. People are super passionate about it. And my experience is, the sad truth is, it's a loud minority who ruin it for other people who are into football, or maybe are religious, right? Anyway, what you often find...
Thank you for the history lesson.
It's probably completely wrong, but that's just what I've observed, right?
Yeah.
But what you often find is there are two slogans that come out from the football and the religious side when people are trying to rile each other up, other than like horrible slurs. And the two are...
I'm learning now.
From the Catholic side is fuck the Queen, because they see the Queen as the head of Protestantism and somehow to do with Rangers, right? Which upsets staunch Protestants. And the other side of it is...
to be fair, staunch Protestants do love the Queen.
Yeah, of course, right? It's like nationalism kind of thing.
Yep.
The other side of that coin is Protestants then saying to the Catholics or the Celtic fans, fuck the Pope, right? Which, head of the Roman Catholic Church, obviously. So there's this big divide, and you'll see these initialed into FTQ and FTP, right? And this is spray painted all over Scotland at times. It's often said by people. I do want to put just as a little caveat that I know a lot of people who joke about these things. There is genuine banter of these things between different people who maybe work together or watch football together in the pubs or whatever. And not everybody who says these things means it or are malicious. Sometimes it's just stupid. Scotland's quite hardy that way. A bit like, obviously we say the word cunt a lot.
Yeah, you have to be when you live in a country that is as miserable weather-wise as this. You have to...
on top of the economy as well.
Yeah.
The
unemployment and
yeah, that's it. Like, you need to understand that disappointment is that's like the top line. Anything else is just not going to happen, right? So there's these rivalries, and people who don't take football as serious as the extremists will say these things to each other. It'll be jibes and jokes between friends, but it's not often said to people you don't know, because it could go any way. It's like it's not the same, but it's of the same severity as using racial slurs somewhere, like maybe in America or whatever, right? Like, sure. it can cause problems very, very quickly.
Like you
very
might find
extreme.
in an outdated cookbook.
Yes, in a friend's house.
Yeah,
Levi, not your house, but you don't want to know. Anyway, getting right back to the story, right? You find that people say FTP or FTQ, and that's like some sort of symbolic thing, right? And
Is that what when the left go mad, right? Is that what you call a dog whistle? Is that a dog whistle? Could that be used as a dog whistle? Is that what that term means?
I think a dog whistle is different. You know how a dog whistle is silent to anyone or everyone but a dog?
Right.
The idea of a dog whistle is a secret message.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like people doing...
But that would be to me, because I don't know, like FTP doesn't mean anything to me, FTQ doesn't mean anything to me.
Not to you, but to the general majority in Scotland,
right.
people would pick up on that right away.
Right.
So it's not like an exclusive club in that regard. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, but like if you lived
potentially
in,
could be.
If you lived in Texas...
Who's in Texas going FTP, FTQ? Nobody, right?
Well,
but
if it was being used in Texas, would that be a dog whistle? Is that me understanding that?
If there was an underground sect of sectarians who were focused on Scottish football and religious rivalry, then yes.
I'm just seeing if I'm learning, right?
But yeah, like you've got the basic premise, right?
Okay.
Same as if you remember, fucking this was a white power symbol. You know what I mean? Like, I can see why that would be considered a dog whistle, because if you didn't know the context of that mean to be WP or whatever, right? You wouldn't know. Especially when it happens at like fucking rallies. I think there was like a Trump supporter, a woman standing in the crowd who crossed her arms and then started doing it at the side and get pulled away and all that, like whatever. Anyway, right. So
I love the world that we live in, mate. It's just you
wild.
couldn't even write it. Like
it is. It's so
stranger than fiction.
Uncanny valley. Being alive is uncanny valley. Yeah. Anyway, we're going to get to this story right here. Yeah. If you could bring this up on the screen, this would be fantastic.
Sure.
So the Scottish Sun, not exactly a reputable news source. No. However, this is correct, right? So this is Travis Barker, the drummer of Blink-182, suffered horrendous burns after a plane crash, survived very well, incredible drummer, could easily have been on that best list.
But not metal.
No, but doesn't matter, right? But an American clothing brand has caused a stir in Scotland after promoting its newest item, modelled by Blink-182 drummer Travis Barker. The tattooed rocker is the face of Fuck the Population's latest offering, a white zip hoodie. Fuck the population, fuck the Pope, same initials. I can see this being the kind of thing that people at Scottish football will wear.
Sure.
Just to cause a stir.
Sure.
And obviously they've went, or the authorities or whoever's the spokesperson for SFA, etc., Scottish Football Association, have went, wait a fucking minute, we don't want this with us. Now, it's not just his t-shirt. As you'll see, he's got jogging bottoms with FTP at the bottom as well. Right. Without context in Scotland, there's no way anyone would guess that means fuck the population.
Sure.
Not a chance, right? Sure. So, as it says in this news article, but across the front is emblazoned with the brand's initials, FTP. The letters are sometimes used in a vile slur about the Pope, as I've explained to you.
They didn't even want to explain what it means.
I mean, it's kind of within context.
Sure,
like,
sure.
You know what I mean? And eagle-eyed Rangers and Celtic, sorry, must be referring to the teams, were quick to highlight this after the clothing line shared a preview snap of their hoodie online. Fuck the Population posted the seemingly innocent pic of Barker on Twitter, promising new gear will be available to buy from Saturday. Just another one for context, you don't say you're selling gear in Scotland, that means cocaine, and that will get you in jail, or a kicking, or some new friends, very quickly. You'll probably be followed into the bathroom.
Yeah.
But the comments under the post were flooded with Scots, quick to point out the issue with the branding. One user replied, "This does not translate well in Glasgow. At Travis Barker, I wouldn't wear this on tour in Scotland if I were you." Another agreed, adding, "I wouldn't wear this in Scotland." But our third user took the opposite view, saying, "This will go down well in Glasgow." See what I mean?
That you said "doon."
This will go down well in Glasgow, Ken. Like, and a fourth replied, "If you released a Union Jack emblazoned jacket with your logo on it, sales would spike in Glasgow." Another was less sure, jokingly asking what could possibly go wrong wearing this round toon.
And there he has written "toon," T-O-O-N.
Yes. One user had a fashion tip saying would go perfect with a pair of brown shoes, referring to Bruni, who is the Rangers Celtic captain. Is that correct? Someone else referred to a famous Ibrox chant asking, "Are you going to bring out 'We Are the Population,' WATP, next?" Rangers use "We Are the People" as some form of slogan for their team, right? And one fan linked it to Blink-182's famous tune "All the Small Things," commenting "all the staunch things." Staunch is a term used to describe a very fervent Protestant, right? This, when I seen this, I laughed, but I was also like, somebody from America is going to wear this and walk into like Bridgeton and be pulled into a pub and bought drinks all day. Right, Bridgeton's a very, very strongly Protestant area. It's probably the best way to put it. Okay. And this is how divisive it is. There's areas in Glasgow and central Scotland that are seen as Catholic or Protestant areas. And like...
we've talked about this on the show
yeah,
before, so I'll give you the example of Larkhall. Right, so Larkhall is the only place in the country, maybe Scotland, who knows, probably the world actually, where Subway, the food chain that makes sandwiches, their branding in Larkhall isn't green, it's black.
Correct.
Because you couldn't possibly have anything green in Larkhall because it's so Protestant.
For those who understand what Lloyd's Pharmacy is, which is essentially a drug dispensary for medicine, their logo is green and gold. The people of Larkhall, or some of the people of Larkhall, probably the majority, boycotted the business until they changed their logo. How little do you care about your own health, and how much do you care about your reputation, I suppose, to your peers in that scenario, to be like, I don't want my medicine, certainly not if it comes from a shop with a green sign with gold piping.
Is that the example that you wanted to go with, rather than the fact that they have cages over the green lights on the traffic?
I was just about to say that.
People break them because they don't like the green lights.
That is...
fucking animals.
And see, the thing is, right, that not to pick on that area, that's just a good example because that's the closest one to us. Sure. Right? It happens everywhere. It's wild. Like,
honestly, let me chime in. So to me, this is so silly. It's so silly.
It is.
That the people of, not even Scotland, the people of Glasgow think that this is of note. And I don't think anyone in the larger community does, because you wouldn't see this on Metal Sucks and you won't see this on Ultimate Guitar. No. You'll see this on the Scottish Sun, because it's an opportunity for them to, on the one hand, be like, oh, this is outrageous, this is stupid, but also propagate that sectarianism.
Correct.
Rather than they could use this as a vehicle to not just explain, what has happened, but to also explain to people that read your paper that really this is stupid and we shouldn't. This is an American clothing brand. They have nothing to do with Scotland. This hasn't been used as any sort of way to dog whistle, or that this shouldn't be like, if you want to emblazon yourself with FTP as in fuck the Pope, this probably isn't the item for you because it has an American flag on the side. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't something shady. And if you look at this and go, this is in poor taste, then you're an idiot. If you look at this and say, well, I'm going to buy this because it allows me to propagate my sectarianism, then you're an idiot. And if you see someone walking down the street wearing one of these in Glasgow and you think, I need to drag him into a toilet and kick the shit out of him, then you're an idiot.
Yep. This is weaponised tribalism.
Yes.
And it's the Scottish Sun doing...
Weaponised fucking autism.
That's not fair. Autistic people are good at things.
Yes, I know.
The Sun aren't. I wouldn't compare them. That's not fair. The reason I want to talk about it is exactly that. Firstly, I love the fact that your reaction was that this is absurd and fucking stupid. Yeah. And secondly, I don't want... Not that many people are going to listen to this and go, I better go to Glasgow. I don't want anybody that doesn't need to have any trouble when they come to Scotland to have any. Like, this is such a localised... specific issue.
It's super strange, because I don't want anybody to listen to this and go, well, I'd probably steer clear of ever visiting Glasgow or to Scotland, central Scotland in general, because it seems like such a hostile place.
I already gave
makes
the caveat.
It sound like, the film Doomsday?
Never seen it.
Okay, so it's like post-apocalyptic, but it's all filmed and set in Scotland. And it's like tribal shit, cannibals and shit in it, right?
I mean, that is just Old Firm Day.
Yeah.
I'm not joking. I've got a work night out on Sunday coming, and that's the Old Firm. The Old Firm being Celtic versus Rangers at the football, and guaranteed something will kick off. We're going to be in a Hilton hotel, and I can still imagine that there's going to be some trouble.
Yeah.
It's so fucked. And truthfully, that's what put me off even getting into football when I was younger. When I was a wee boy, I saw it and I went, Nah, people fighting over whose team they support and what colours they are, and associating religion with a football team, and nah, count me out. I'd rather skateboard or play guitar, and then I split my head open. So I just play guitar now.
Okay, let's close this up with the most outrageous story that I found all damn week. For those that are still listening and are new to this channel and me and what I do, like I work in music education. I am a writer myself. I have 7 Amazon bestsellers, new one out in January. I'd expect that to do well too. Plug. Go buy my books. In fact, I can go one better than that. Like, ready for this?
Yeah. I just want to interject and just say, one whiskey and I've got alky cheeks already. Like, I'm definitely Scottish. Look at me, big and rosy.
Yeah, so I work in education and I'm passionate about reading and learning myself. Like, I still spend a lot of money every month on educational products because I like to stay on top of what's current, and also new products are coming out that I think are interesting and exciting. It's interesting to see, even a subject that you know very well. If you're interested in education, it's sometimes interesting to read someone else's perspective, read someone else's approach to explaining that subject. Because as a teacher myself, I would be behooved to have the best utility belt of tools of teaching as possible. You don't want to be sitting down with a student and them struggling to learn something and then you just being like, well, you're clearly stupid. Like, it's my job as a teacher to learn and understand how to reach you, how to get that information through to you. So having lots of different ways to explain the same thing, you will see different things work for different people. So I am always excited by new educational products, especially when they come with an established name on them. So, for example,
Tom Morello.
Yeah. That wasn't the one I was going to go for. Steve Vai's theory book, right?
I knew you weren't going to talk about Tom Morello because that's just a joke. But anyway,
but no, like when Tom Morello did his thing and Santana did his thing, like they definitely are of interest to me because I want to see what their approach to things is. I think Tom's product could have been great if he didn't try and come across as some sort of authority on.
Don't trust teachers, but trust me.
Exactly.
You shouldn't trust teachers, but trust me.
Yeah.
I hate capitalism. Buy my stuff.
I can teach you to be completely original. Allow me to show you how I do my very specific things.
Drop D.
Yeah.
Oh, original.
But the Steve Vai example, right? He was releasing a theory book, and although I didn't rate the book, I bought the book, and I was interested in seeing what was going on. So anytime someone that I'm interested in releases a product, I'm super excited. And I have a very sort of niche, fringe taste in music. I'm obviously very into jazz. I'm very, very into Western swing, which for those unfamiliar, and I imagine a lot of you guys are because
Gypsy jazz.
I've brought in a lot of metal guys. But you describe Western swing as what happens when rednecks, hillbillies, country musicians play jazz.
Yep.
Okay, so it's got that. It's country and jazz together.
Oh, it's like super, super fast. Lots of slides and
lots of it's country vocabulary but with jazz harmony, right? And I love that. It's really a sound that I'm really into. I'm extremely passionate about slide guitar, like blues slide guitar, and I absolutely love gypsy jazz. That's another genre that I'm really, really into. Like Dennis Chang of DC Music School owns the site DC Music School, and if you want to learn gypsy jazz, you go there because everything that you could want is on there. He's currently working on a new album with Jimmy Rosenberg, who's a phenomenal, one of the best gypsy jazz guitar players that's ever lived. Hopefully there will be more products for that. I know he has been filming stuff with him. That's exciting, but also like guys like Josh O'Stefan has his own website. And there's not enough time in the day to absorb all of this material that's coming at you, right? There are notable guitar players that have never put out quality instructional material, okay? So an example of that would be Steve Vai, right? In his career, he's never released an instructional video, which I always thought was very odd when I was younger. I imagine that, Hot Licks and all of the REH, all of these companies were probably trying to get Steve Vai to release a video because that would have been big fucking money.
Absolutely.
On the jazz scene, Pat Metheny has never released a decent quality instructional video.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about jazz, but I always remember Paul Gilbert constantly talking about Pat Metheny. And
you know why though, don't you? Because they both played Ibanez.
Well, of course, right? But I mean, I've seen some of Pat Metheny's madness, and I'm like, well, I can see why that guy's highly revered because he's clearly very inspirational in terms of like being super creative.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'm surprised he doesn't have any real.
Well, it's odd because a lot of guys that are in that world don't have instructional materials because they're not teachers. Like Steve Vai, not really a teacher.
Did he not? No, it didn't start as a teacher, sorry, I'm talking shit.
No. But Pat Metheny absolutely was a teacher. He taught at Berkeley. He taught Mike Stern and when Mike was first at Berkeley, one of his first teachers was a young student, Pat Metheny.
Wow.
So like he has a history of education. He tours around the world doing clinics. Like he's a great teacher. So he never did a video. George Benson, he did do an instructional video. There was a Hot Licks video of George Benson. It's great. It's great to watch. You don't learn a whole lot from it unless you really do the work and all the transcribing, because he's not a teacher. Have you seen it?
No.
It's fantastic.
I can't imagine seeing George Benson in Hot Licks. I think Hot Licks and I'm like shrapnel videos, like fucking Vinnie Moore
right.
and...
So he, rather than being in the Hot Licks studio, sat down doing his thing. It's filmed in his house, sat in front of his fire.
I can just imagine it.
Yeah, and he's like, "Welcome to my home." He's having fun throughout
and that
the entire
big shag pad.
And he's playing and he's singing while he's doing everything. And George Benson is a fucking great guitar player. There is no denying he is a great guitar player. You could learn a lot from him. So when I got tagged in this. George Benson has just released 6 books with Peter Farrell guitar. The combo of complementary and tool ebooks, right? I think there's a little bit more information. I don't want to spoil. Can I see these? Okay. So the George Benson method. 6 books covering the George Benson method. That to me sounds fascinating and is absolutely something I'd want to check out. I mean, one of the things I do on Patreon every month is I do a study club stream where I take a book or an instructional video or whatever, and I look at it and I talk about the content in it, and I go over some of the exercises and I talk about my thoughts on it and how I would develop the content in the book into my own practice routines in order to get stuff into my playing. So I'm always looking for new things that I can talk about. So when I saw this, someone wanted my review of it, I was like, cool, I'll go check this out. I'll go buy this. George Benson method. Right, so the combo, complementary and toolbooks. Well, good news, it's on sale. It is on sale. It's been reduced.
No, it was on sale.
Well, it was on sale. It's actually out of stock now. You can't purchase it. That's already strange to me because this is an ebook. So
limited pressings.
Apparently ebooks can go out of stock.
We only made 500 PDFs.
Yeah, we ran out of data.
We phoned EE, but they couldn't up our data allowance, so we couldn't send any more out.
To be fair, I joke about that, but it is possible in terms of hosting. You could reach a bandwidth limit for how many downloads that you could deliver to people. So it is entirely possible.
I'll
but
explain
for the
why
amount that you're charging, you can afford more hosting.
Exactly. For the context of what you're paying for.
So,
don't think so. Anyway.
Combo, complementary, and tool ebooks. Now, as I say, it's on sale. To be fair, before I clicked on this, if I had to think about how much money I would pay for this, I would probably fork out $80 to $100 for this, which I know immediately is the sort of thing that you're going to look at and go, that seems a bit high.
Well, given the context, you obviously know that George Benson's a great musician.
Yep.
You speak highly of his Hot Licks videos,
sure.
and this is something you would clearly be into.
Well,
80, 100 quid for 6 books of someone's explicit teachings and tools, and they're all worked together in different volumes. Fair enough. Like, that's not that bad. You could spend that on 6 DVDs.
Yeah, that's me seeing that as very cheap, actually, because it's
totally.
six books, so it's less than £20 a book.
Which is brilliant. Like, I can't argue with that.
Sure.
It doesn't hold value to me, but that's because I come from a different background.
Fair.
I'm used to... I'll just find a tab that somebody has written up online that's probably wrong, and I'll work it out for there.
Yeah. These books are not... They are not $80 to $120 for all 6.
No, they're a total bargain.
Their retail price is £687, and they are on sale for £584. Now,
no, they were on sale for $584, and they've run out of stock.
That's
apparently.
just under £100 per ebook. Now, I appreciate that most of our audience is in America, so allow me to do the comparison for you.
That's it. Okay, George. You need a second extension on that mansion, son.
That's the thing. George is so rich.
Never give up on a good thing.
£584.
Swap it that way around. From pounds to dollars. I'm going to say 800. 755.
$750 for 6 ebooks. What?
Nothing physical.
What?
$756 for an email.
$750 for books.
Improving your reading and rhythmic ideas, part 1 and 2, all instrumentals, chord construction and beginning harmony, advanced harmony, George Benson right and left hand techniques, approach tones in Dorian, Mixolydian and harmonic minor world.
I mean, it hurts because I really want it. Like, I really, really fucking want this stuff. I do. There's no reviews of it either. I'm fucking flabbergasted. $750. What were you thinking? What were you thinking?
Not just that, right? Maybe I'm talking naively here, but it says this is from Peter Farrell Guitar. The website only has the George Benson method listed and then testimonials. Maybe Peter Farrell, someone who's mega known. I don't know the name.
I'm unfamiliar with the name, but to be fair, it doesn't mean much. I keep up with the education scene, but there's so many great writers out there, so many great educators.
I'm not saying that he's not. I don't mean that in any way, shape, or form to discredit him.
Yeah.
But it certainly doesn't go good against his name for him to be someone that specifically you, would say, I don't know him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If it was like, it came out at, like, not Hot Licks, but some other very well known and very well cited educational series, then fair enough. But
I worked with Frank Gambale on his last couple of instructional video download products.
Just drop names in there.
I said this, and people are shocked by this when I say I'm a professional transcriber. Like, this is the fucking industry I work in.
No. Only one person was shocked, and he's a moron.
Yeah. No, there's been a lot on YouTube.
Oh, getting better.
Yeah. So I worked with Frank on his last couple of products, right? And his sweet picking course, his downloadable sweet picking course, it's fantastic. It genuinely is, okay? It's 10 hours of video content. 10 hours of video content. When Frank released that, he wanted to sell it and still wants to sell it for $400, right? That is too much. It's just too much. It's just way too much. Not because the content isn't worth that. The content is absolutely worth that. You will get more than that in terms of value out of it. But you just cut your market into such a minuscule amount that there's no point in fucking being there. There's just no point in being there. You will sell it to 2 customers instead of being able to sell it to 1,000 customers at a lower price, right? So, and I told Frank that, and you know, he begrudgingly agrees. You know what I mean? But that's 10 hours of video content. 10 hours of video content for $400.
You can see why he's happy with that kind of... he thinks that's a fair price, because it's a lot of work, obviously.
Sure.
There's a lot of man-hours went into that.
Yeah. That's the thing with books, right? Again, like...
40 quid an hour? That's probably less than you would pay for a lesson.
Absolutely.
Especially from Frank Gambale.
Yeah. And like I talk about like working as a transcriber, but I've worked in education, I've worked in writing as well. Like I write my own books and I've written for magazines for years. And part of that is ghostwriting. Like I've ghostwritten for a lot of famous artists. When you read various artists in magazines, it's very rarely that artist that wrote the article, because, you know, famous guitar player X is famous guitar player X. He doesn't necessarily have the ability to write well. He has the ability to play well. So that ghostwriting thing is extremely common. And I can tell you firsthand, I've been party to writing not only articles for magazines, but books that have an artist's name on the cover. And the artist barely touches them. They play. So I'm not saying that George didn't play a very active role in this, but it's not like video content where they are the fucking backbone of it. This is...
I suppose the endorsement to your point is here, it's not saying this, it's on GeorgeBensonGuitar.com. It's PeterFarrellGuitar.com.
Yeah,
somebody else has been involved. To a degree, doesn't matter.
Now, I can't buy that. I can't. I just don't have the money to buy that. That's ridiculous.
Liar.
Yeah,
You're not going to. Because you're Scottish now.
Yeah. If any of our listeners want to buy that for me, though, that would be much appreciated.
That's a nice Christmas present.
Yeah,
Fuck me.
Unfortunately, it's out of stock. Let's just check.
That's more than my rent.
Yeah.
I kid you not. Buy single chapters. Get into that. Come on.
He must have got some serious backlash for this, because there's just... I think everything's just been pulled down.
The site's dead.
And rightfully fucking so.
I mean, I'm not being shite, but no wonder it's sold out if you can't buy it on the website. Maybe it's just not for sale.
I mean, when I initially posted that in our group, it absolutely was for sale, and each individual you could buy each individual book as well. So yeah, I don't know what to say, but we're going to leave the episode with that one because that is. I do not want to.
It's a large lump to chew.
Utterly fucking speechless. Utterly speechless. Still a better use of your money than buying a TTM though. So
yeah, because there might be ebooks, but you'll still get something.
You still get something. Right. Lastly, I just want to say a huge thank you to our sponsor, Ormsby Guitars.
Thanks again, Perry and Co.
You can see my lovely headless Goliath behind us.
The sooner you get your hangers up, the better, because I'm choking to bring the Metal X up and get some photos against it on that wall now.
I know. Oh. Sound panels and then hangers.
And some great content. We get to play with the Rev and turn it right up.
So much content.
Oh man,
it's like actually astonishingly cool. So I can have the I've had the Rev on the purple channel, which is like heavy overdrive.
G3
either in 10-watt mode, cranked, like absolutely cranked, and then I walk outside and go to my house and you can't hear it, which is so cool. And then you put it into 120-watt mode and you start turning it up and you're like, what? I mean,
I could probably hear it in my house.
Yeah, this is. But oh mate, you just instantly, because obviously, like, although this is what I do for a living and I've done this for 10 years now, I've always worked out of my house, and I've always had loads of nice amps, but the opportunity to turn them up is few and far between.
Yep.
And you just forget how great an amp is when you crank it up.
The other thing that you could do, which I thought about doing recently when I was looking on eBay, there are a few, and they've been going for a while, so you could maybe even haggle one down in good price.
You better be about to say a spamp.
No, you've got one already. You spent too much money on that. You haven't even plugged it in yet. I took it to the studio and I never get the chance to plug it in. No, I was going to say, maybe redundant considering you've got the two notes, etc., right?
Yeah.
There are a few Randall isolation cabs
right
on eBay, and them, with your 120 watt amp, in here would be fucking killer. There's one that looks like a 4x12, right? So it's like proper cab, but it's just one speaker, sound isolated inside with 57 obviously against the cone, because who else is going to use anything else? No other speakers, and then just your cabling at the back of it, which would look badass and be great for home recording.
And how much do these sell for?
Second hand, 200 or 300 quid.
That's not too bad.
It's not. I mean, it's still a lot of money for a single V30 in a box.
But if you wanted to maybe do a video where you wanted to compare, you know, an amp, a moderate volume with a microphone in front of it versus an amp going through a 2-note torpedo live versus using an isolation cabinet like that'd be something that I might be able to justify as a business expense.
I can see it happen. I can see the cogs going in your head already. Yep. So there was two when I last looked. Randall seemed to be the ones that do them most often.
Yeah.
There was one of the ISO cabs looked amazing. Like, it was so well built. But I think that would be very interesting just to see how loud it actually gets when you're cranking it.
Yeah. Yeah, how much you can hear in the room.
It would still be a lot.
Yeah.
But
yeah, because the soundproofing in here is obscene. The amount of time.
And you don't even have the panels up yet. You don't have anything that's actually absorbent.
Yeah.
You've just got isolating.
Yeah.
Madness.
Yeah. So, thank you again, Ormsby Guitars. Please do head on over to their website. Send us pictures if you buy one. We always
absolutely.
love to see them. And,
appreciate some guitar porn.
Yeah. I have been one of your hosts, Mr. Levi Clay, and my good friend, Mr. Mike McLaughlin. Any closing messages for anyone? Any words of advice or things that you'd request of people?
Levi and I, just before we started recording this, Levi decided we were going to go live. The camera was incredible. The content was not. But what I would say to that is, I would love for us to do like a live episode.
Yeah,
see if we could schedule it on and see if people were interested. If that's something that interests any listener who would tune in on YouTube and want to just shoot the shit with us, have a chat, we could play some stuff. I'd be happy to play some Partican and stuff if I can get backgrounds or whatever, or Levi and I jamming, or even us talking about dissecting riffs that we're into and how we'd approach playing them and learning them, that kind of stuff, then fucking by all means, I would love to do that. I'm very, very inexperienced when it comes to guitar teaching, but I love guitar, and you love guitar, and...
No. I'm very inexperienced at loving guitar. Right? But I'm very good at teaching.
Yeah, you could talk the legs off a fucking donkey and all, which is good, right? So if that's something you guys would be into, I think we would have a great time doing so, and having an isolated space means it would be very easy to do so.
Yes.
So,
and I hear there are new t-shirts coming soon, but
Oh no, look, we're supposed to keep them quiet.
We'll see what happens. We'll see how
I've got some great ideas, by the way. See, when you were talking during the episode, one came into my head and I'm like, that's got to happen.
Cool. So we're going to go and talk about those. So until next time.
Bye, fuckers.